Aloha everybody, this is David with Vision Quest Astrology, back for another astro video. And today is going to be one a little bit more personal to me, and a placement that really is all about personification and personalization anyways, and that is what it means to be a moon rising, to be a moon riser in your chart, which is the same thing as having moon in the first house or the moon conjunct your ascendant. Obviously, the closer to the ascendant, the more it's felt. But you know, you have Cancer rising, which is to have the sign of Cancer as your rising sign. But to be a moon riser, you actually, no matter what your moon sign is, it's to have the actual placement of the moon in your first house, usually right on your ascendant. The closer it is to your ascendant, the more it's considered being a moon riser. Anything conjunct your ascendant is kind of considered, that planet is considered rising since it's at the top of your chart, and it's was at the top of the sky, when you were born. It's a pretty dynamic placement, to say the least, and that's why I really wanted to make this video, because I feel there's not a lot of information out there. This is a placement. The moon is the most vulnerable place we have. It is our emotions, it is our feelings, it is that unconscious self that no thought really gets shed on what you're doing with your moon. It's just kind of a very unconscious thing. You don't have to think about gut reaction, it's just there. So when the planet that is very unconscious, very more not quite as seen, comes to like the area of the chart that is the most visible and out there, your vulnerability is just out there for everyone to see. And this kind of goes one of two ways, It can make it to where, kind of like Cancer rising, you're very, people feel very comfortable around you. I have found people tell me all the time that, gosh, I feel like I can just open up to you, I can tell you my life story, and I will meet strangers everywhere and feel like we're already family, because I'm just able to make that emotional connect with them, just right off the bat, because my moon is just right out there. It's like, oh, hello, come on in. But the downside to that is when maybe you're going through things and having hard times, and you kind of just want to retreat inside of yourself, and you don't necessarily want everyone to know your business, it's going to be written on your face no matter what. So people that have moon rising are not able to hide their emotions. It's not possible. The moon is constantly changing. The moon is moody. It is, it comes and goes in cycles. It's sometimes it's waxing, sometimes it's waning, sometimes it's full, sometimes it's new. And so because of this, people that have their moon on their ascendant, their emotions are always changing. So people sometimes have a hard time understanding why one second you're this way and then another second you're that way, and how it kind of goes back and forth so readily. And sometimes the person with the moon rising themselves will feel kind of like, God, what's wrong with me? I'm so back and forth. But they don't realize it because these emotions are so unconscious, and it's being brought to the conscious. So when you can shed some light on, like, okay, I'm feeling this way because this happened, or kind of cataloging the way you feel and why you feel that way and how you get to that place, so that you can kind of gain a sense and a grasp of better understanding for it. Because here you're really learning to bring your emotions to your most conscious awareness, whereas they normally want to stay hidden and unseen and unconscious and more just on a feeling type level. Moon risers, I can really attest to this one myself, literally feel their emotions in their body. Like, we all feel sadness, we all feel anger, this, that, and the other, but these people, because it is like right on their ascendant, their moon, they feel like when they're going through something, like you'll feel pain in your arms, you'll have sometimes really bad sinus problems. I find that people with this placement are really sensitive to smells. Certain like fragrances that are really artificial can really trigger their sinuses and things like that. And weight gain can be really fluctuating with this, gaining weight really easily and losing weight really easily, kind of going back and forth and always in this state of flux, and just really feeling emotions on this visceral level in your body. And it can be kind of overwhelming sometimes. Like, it can actually be, I can attest that when I'm really going through emotionally taxing things, I get physically sick. And everyone around me thinks I'm crazy. Like when they're like, if I have a sinus infection or if I catch the flu or whatever it might be, I'm like, I think this has to do with like what I've been going through lately. And they're like, oh no, that's crazy. But I just know, I can feel when things on a feeling level have affected me to the point that I need to be detoxed so bad that it hits my body. There's a lot of mirroring effects that goes on with us moonrisers, and there is a lot of projection that goes on, projecting when we're feeling things that we don't necessarily like, that are uncomfortable, that are things that you just don't want to feel. We just want to feel good, and when we're not feeling so good, we have a way of projecting outward whatever it is that's bothering us. So let's say, we're dealing with self-hatred and insecurity and just feeling really low on ourselves. We can be around someone we really love and we're going to project that out onto them. Or even if you're not purposely projecting like that, oftentimes you'll just see your emotions through other people. Because we're like this plasterboard and projection screen of our emotions, we see them through other people. So the things that we get scared of in ourselves or sad about or whatever it might be, the people we're interacting with around us, we're going to literally have it displayed through them so that we can see it, because it's so unconscious for us that we don't realize it half the time. We're not always aware that it's so obvious and written on our face and so out there for people to witness that everyone around us just knows. So then we see it through them as this means to show us what's actually going on inside ourselves. So it's kind of a blessing and a curse all at the same time. But when worked with in a conscious way, it really can help you see, okay, this is what's going on. This is how I can assess this. And it can kind of make sense from there. This placement really wants to nurture and be there for other people, but as much so, it wants to be nurtured right back. We can be really big babies. We can be really whiny. It doesn't take a lot to upset us. And, that can be super annoying even for myself sometimes. But at the same time, there is also such a reservoir of emotional strength here. These are people that, we've gotten used to being beaten down a lot in our lives because our emotions are so on the surface. We literally wear our heart on our sleeve. And people do often take advantage of that. So you really do have to draw boundaries. But they're people that open up relatively easily. There can be a lot of trepidation and fear entering into relationships because we're like, God, I don't want this person to hurt me. But at the same time, without entering into relationship, we get depressed so fast. So it's like we have to. So kind of this back and forth. I can't choose what side I want to be on. But it's a really sensitive place for the moon because the moon can't hide here. The moon can't deny itself. And my biggest advice would be to find a place where you feel safe. Not only in the external world, but in your internal world. I find personally that people with moon rising are really imaginative. They're so deeply emotionally in tune with their environment because they feel everything around them so deeply. Because literally, you come into a room as a moon riser, you feel everything around you because the first house, the ascendant, is the environment. It's how you interact with the environment around you. So you come into a room and you are absorbing kind of like a sponge. A sponge is more of like Neptune, I would say. The moon, it's like you're just kind of this emotional checklist. You can feel everyone around you, and their emotions really affect you. But also, your emotions have a way of affecting the whole room as well in the atmosphere. So you're really emotionally powerful, is what I would say. So when you learn to kind of learn how to interact with your emotions in a healthy way, because this is a person that your emotions are such a big part of who you are and your personality, and without them you wouldn't be you. There's a lot of people that are really detached from emotion, and it's just impossible for a moon riser to be detached from them because they are so deeply a part of your experience. And you have to acknowledge that about yourself, or else you're going to feel like you're emotionally not being seen, and your sensitivity and your feeling base is just being like knocked out, and that doesn't feel good. So the biggest advice is find a place where you can feel safe, find people in your soul tribe that support you and love you for who you are, and most of all, love yourself and give yourself the nurturing that you need and nurture others because that's what you do. Being of service to others and in the healing fields is very natural for these people. I can definitely attest to that, and definitely don't let yourself get taken advantage of. It's easy with this placements. There's a lot of greatness here, but shed some light on it and you're really good to go. So yeah, you guys, that is moon rising, moon in the first house, moon conjunct your ascendant, whatever you want to call it. It's a beautiful placement, has its ups and downs like many, but I hope you all found something relatable from this video. So thank you for watching, and until next time, aloha.